Hi everyone, welcome back to the Coding and Analysis YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'm going to go over the cross-validation results and look at the players and the matplotlib chart of the results. So we're calculating our metrics right here and the R-square score, the mean absolute error. So we're going to get this for all like positions combined, not just them separated like we did here, but it's going to be all of the positions combined. And then we're calculating the residuals, and then we're going to get so we're using numpy and absolute to get the absolute number. And then we're getting the 5 largest outliers. And then this is how we're going to color the results. And then we start off the matplotlib alias PLT and the figure, so that's how large our chart is going to be. And then we're using a seaborn.scatterplot and these parameters that we're using. So the data is the concatenated and all predictions data frame, and then the x-axis is the CBS model and the y-axis is our predicted fantasy points. And then the U is the fantasy position of running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback. And then the color palette is this object right here. And then the diagonal line, like I talked about in the earlier video. So we're plotting the diagonal line from 0 to the highest number. And then here we're doing a for loop to show the actual player names for the top residuals or the top outliers. And then we're labeling and adding the title, and then we're displaying the R-square and the MAE on the plot. And then the legend is going to be on the bottom right. So we can see here this R-square is for all of the positions combined. So is the MAE is 32. So that's not too bad. That's pretty decent score. And then the 32 points off, and that's not too bad either. But when you look at it, the you see a lot more compared to the train test split. The train test split has a lot better R-square and the MAE, but it's training on 80% of the data and doing testing on the 20%. So the highest variables would be from the testing data, and then the training data is going to be a lot more close to the diagonal line. But then the cross validation, since it's using 5 folds of data for the training and testing for the cross validation, it's going to be more. It's going to vary more and more differences. So we can see here Daniel Jones. He's one of the residuals: Sam Howell, Christian McCaffrey, Anthony Richardson, Joe Burrow. So these 3 were in the first one. I think all these 3 are in the testing. They're in the testing data. But we don't have testing data in here where we just have one cross validation. So position and split. So the running backs and then the quarterbacks are green. So you can see here that there's going to be a higher number for the quarterbacks. And then the all predictions, like we're doing here, we're subtracting our model from the CBS model. And then we're getting the top 10 overvalued players, and then the top 10 undervalued players. So you can see here these three were in the top residual with their valuation differences. And then let's see. So we got Daniel Jones and Sam Howell. So Daniel Jones, Sam, and Keenan Allen, he's not in there. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so 200, 131. And then we're doing undervalued Christian McCaffrey, Anthony Richardson, and Joe Burrow. And the reasons for this is Christian McCaffrey, he was injured in 2024, and that's where the feature columns, the feature importances are getting the most. In 2024 stats, and then Anthony Richardson, he was also injured, and I put down projected role as more of a backup hybrid player, so that's why his only 91 for him. So it's so difficult to do these backup players who might come in the game to do run plays like Anthony Richardson. So Joe Burrow, the difference here, 308, that's 300 between 350 and 300 probably be a good score for Joe Burrow. This 439 and CBS model is just very over optimistic. So let's look at the CSV file results. So you can see here, Christian McCaffrey, he has the lowest probably from the running backs, and all the other ones, not too far off for Chad White. So that's pretty big difference. But the Jonathan Taylor, that's not a big difference at all. Travis Etienne, that's sort of a big difference. So we're getting higher variances with the cross validation. But just keep in mind that the why we do it is we want more training and testing on the different folds of data. So yeah, we want more testing and training cycles, and we want each fold only to see the test set once, because we don't want overfitting. We don't want we want a more honest performance from our model. So basically that's why we're doing the cross validation. We want more honesty and more realism instead of overfitting and data leakage, which could happen if we're doing 80-20 test split, or if we did like a 200 trees and 20 depth. The model could learn too much if we did that. Let's see, I'm gonna go back to that. So 100 estimators, max depth of 10. So if we had like 200 or 20, then that would probably lead to some overfitting and data leakage, possibly in the train test split. Since we're doing like 100 trees and doing a max depth of 10, or like a max depth or investigation into learning into these feature columns. So that's why we're doing it on the lower end, so preventing any possible overfitting. So Alvin Kamara, 224. That's probably, he was injured some last year, so that's probably why his numbers are lower compared to the CBS models. But these are also overly optimistic as well. So that's why some of the data is, the discrepancies in the data is due to that. So we see DeAndre Swift. That was one where our model has him scoring more points than the CBS model. All these other ones, the CBS model, are is scoring better than our model. So keep that in mind if you're doing planning on drafting DeAndre Swift. He outperformed the CBS model while all the other ones didn't. James Conner slightly did at 261. So let's look at the Chase Brown 236. So that's pretty close between our model and the CBS model. Let's see if rookies, Ashton Gianti, RJ Harvey. So ours are a little bit lower than the CBS models. Predictions, Amari and Hampton. I think he's on, he's going to be on the Chargers, Amari and Hampton, I think. And RJ Harvey's on the Broncos. So I think I just saw where Najee Harris, he hurt his eye doing some fireworks on the 4th of July, so that might give Amari and Hampton more of a chance to maybe get more touches in the training camp. So look at the wide receivers, tight ends. Justin Jefferson 270, Mike Evans 252. We'll see if he can stay healthy. And then Jamar Chase, the CBS model has his a lot higher at 367, and ours is only 286, which that's probably on the lower end, maybe 300, 350. Closer to would be better than 286 for sure, probably. Which he'll probably score more points than Amon-Ra St. Brown. I would say. So you can see here, E. Higgins, he has a lot much lower than the CBS model. Lad McConkey, so that's pretty close, pretty similar. Brian Thomas Jr. So a little bit different. Let's look at Brock Bowers. So that's too much. That's pretty similar. And then Rashid Shaheed, he was hurt. So in 2024, that's why his stats are lower compared to the CBS model. So let's see. Let's see the rookies. The rookies. That's it looks like it's pretty close, pretty similar between each other. So that's good. That's pretty interesting. How the rookie wide receivers and tight ends, they're similar in both of the models. Except for Jaden Higgins. There's a bigger difference there. Jalen Noel. The more to see the tight ends. The tight ends are pretty close for Ty Warren, Colson Loveland. That's a little bit different. So the quarterbacks, Josh Allen 351. You can see here, that's just seems really high. Anything between 350 or 400 would probably be reasonable for the top tier quarterbacks. I wouldn't go over 400 really, especially like Lamar Jackson 450. I think these are probably a better representation of the top quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, 439. I don't think he's gonna score 439, 308. Probably closer. And then let's see, look at Cam Ward, Tower Show. So for some reason they have Tower Show scoring more than Cam Ward, our model, does, which that's interesting. I doubt that would happen. Tyler Show would score more than Cam Ward, but you never really know. Cam Ward 220, that's probably a decent score for him. 220, I would probably go with our model compared to CBS model. So it's fun to spend your time, my time looking at these, the cross validation predictions and the CBS model predictions. So in the next video, I'm gonna do something called it's gonna be full training. So it's gonna be combined cross validation and full training. So instead of just running the cross validation, going to fit a final model on the full data to so it would be more of like a production use instead of just doing the cross validation model. So I'll do that next video. So thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye now.